Alright, welcome back to another episode of No Man's Sky. I just did a narration for the last video, so I'm just kind of continuing off from that. And I was talking about the airlines, and something I forgot to mention, but with the whole United Airlines thing, like way back, the first thing, I was thinking there might have been, kind of a stock opportunity with that, like if the price dipped low enough. I don't know, I never actually checked it out. Even if I did, it's not one I would have taken, to be honest, but it might have been there, and it's something that people, it probably more for because with stocks, there's more or less, there's sort of traders and then there's long-term investors. It's probably more for the traders, if there was one. I'd probably doubt it that there was, but it probably would have been worth checking out just for curiosity's sake. But especially with what was happened with, the American and Canadian stock exchanges, and especially America. America, basically, and I'll probably talk about this at some point, but the exchanges are really down, more so America than Canada, but they're really down. They've dropped considerably. Basically yesterday, being the 17th, they really had a big tumble. But I was gonna mention there's with airlines, and I don't even remember what airline it is. There's too many airlines just doing random crap that there's all kinds of stories about them, and it's hard to keep track. But there was one of the airlines, and it was probably United Airlines, but I have no idea. They kicked off a family because they brought cake onto the airline, and I don't even understand what happened. But the police were called, because that's a reasonable explanation. It's just we'll call the police, and the police, and I picked up a couple of things, about how the police reacted to it, right? I have a couple of things. First of all, I think the police, were firm. They did show up, they did do their job, they did, make sure everything was the way it should be. But they were also fair, right? They weren't just oh yeah, we're here to, abuse our authority and stuff. So I think they did a good job. But the thing also I noticed is they were quick to divorce themselves and the customer from responsibility for the whole situation, and they put it pretty much all on the airline. They were pretty clear, hey, what we're doing, we don't want to be doing this, but it's our jobs, and unfortunately, this is what has to happen. And the customers, I think, were deported. And the police made it clear, we're not the ones doing this, it's the airline. And the police also made the point quite emphatically, you guys didn't do anything wrong, right? You guys didn't do anything wrong. And I think the airline still deported them. And I would think to myself, if the police say that the people in question have not done anything wrong, would you not allow them to stay on the plane? If the police, they're the police, right? Would you not trust what they say when they say that someone is innocent? Would you not just assume that when the police say, hey, look, you guys didn't do anything wrong, that's an accurate statement, right? Would that not be assumed? I would assume that. I mean, the minute the police say, hey, these guys are fine, I would let them stay on the flight. But I think it was a captain, right? And technically the captain does have the authority to kick people off the flight on account if he wants to, or she. I don't know, maybe it was a female captain, right? But it's still not good, right? You know what I mean? And I would almost think too that the police, should be able to overrule, right? If they say, hey, look, this guy is fine, and we say you gotta let him on, I would probably think that would be more sensible to let them overrule. But even without that, I would think the captain would defer to them, that they wouldn't that they wouldn't go ahead and kick them off after that. But I mean, whatever. I don't know if they got refunded or not. I don't know off the top of my head. I hope they did. But either way, like they were bringing a cake to someone for like a birthday, and I guess it would have been nice if the person would have got the cake on their birthday. I don't know if that happened, but I guess. Yeah, I guess just Anyways, something that's kind of funny to me is, and actually it kind of ties into something that happened with Stephen Colbert. But so I'll tell that part first. With Colbert, he what was it? He said he's a dick holster. He said that Trump was Putin's dick holster, basically, and people got really upset about that. I guess one, because that word, and in Canadian speak, the word Richard is crude, which it is. It's crude the way 8-year-olds are crude. It's not adult humor. It's what I call adult humor written by 8-year-olds, basically. Is what that is. Anyways, people said it was homophobic, which it's not really, because a woman can be a Richard holder, right? And it's not really even about sex, even though it kind of is, but it's more about saying that Trump is submissive to Putin. That's, people got really kind of upset about that, which is, kind of funny. Mainly censored the word too, which it's incredible to me that we're censoring that word. But and he almost should have said penis holder, because then it wouldn't have got censored. And I think hearing penis holder is more than hearing boob holster, if you know what I mean, right? But the other thing that happened, more recently than that, one of the Jimmys, because on TV there's 2 Jimmys, and I don't watch their shows. Like, I'll watch clips on YouTube, but I don't actually watch their shows on TV. But I think Jimmy Fallon had Trump on, and he did an interview with Trump. And the thing is he was nice, and so he kind of did the opposite, where as Colbert was mean, Fallon was nice, and people got mad at him for that, right? Like, they got mad at him that he wasn't a jerk to Trump, and I didn't watch the interview. I saw the part where he tousled his hair, which, people got mad at that. I don't know why, but it's weird. Like people, it's like, you can't please anyone, really, because, and I don't understand, if you say something, derogatory about Trump, people will get mad at you, but if you're nice to him, people will get mad at you. So you know what I mean? And I don't know, I think that having a show where, it's not all politically charged, but it's just sort of light and just sort of happy is not a bad idea. And I'm just watching, in the footage, I kind of hate it, when you pick up blueprints, and after Pathfinder it doesn't happen anymore, but I kind of hate that, because, you get the same blueprints all the time, and you're not really getting anything, and it's, kind of annoying, especially because it opens up a menu, and you have to you can't do anything while it's showing you what the blueprint is. The whole thing, though, with Colbert insulting Trump is because of Trump did an interview in the Oval Office with someone who has a name, apparently, but I don't know what it is. Some CBS reporter, correspondent, whatever, where I think he was asking about the tax returns, and Trump basically ended the interview by sitting down at his desk and pretending to work. And I thought that was hilarious, because that's literally how a 5-year-old would end something, right? That's a 5-year-old, is being scolded, and then turns a shoulder and starts coloring to say, hey, we're done, because I'm so busy, I got all these pictures to draw. Like, it's just so juvenile. I found it hilarious, and that was the reason for Colbert's thing. But the thing is, I'm always amused by censorship, because they always censor things that I'm like, this really needs to be censored. Okay, well, if you say so. And then they let things by that I'm like, this really could have been censored, right? And it's kind of just it's like a weird standard of censorship. But is part of the thing is, though, people are finicky in the kind of content they're okay with and what they're not okay with. Do you know what there is a movie called Dude, Where's My Car? And I wanted my mom to watch it, and she wouldn't because, I guess because it's also in the category of adult humor written by 8-year-olds, which I think the movie is like PG or PG-13, something like that. It's not, like a particularly high-rated movie, but she wouldn't watch it because she found it crude. Because there's a scene where the guy puts his hands on a woman's breast, and she didn't like that. But she's watched we've watched R-rated movies together and stuff, and it's it's just amusing to me, like what people have such a high tolerance for and what they have a low tolerance for. And people, it seems like, because there's kind of three pillars of content, right? Like, in terms of content that people might be like, not so that people might be offended by it. It's basically violence, profanity, and sex. And people seem to, they'll be really accepting of, one or two, but not all three a lot of the time. You know what I mean? They'll say, oh, I don't really mind nudity and stuff, and, sex scenes, but, violence, I don't like. Or, but they won't mind profanity either. People, they won't mind extreme violence, but, profanity and sex scenes, they're totally opposed to. And it's just kind of, it's just weird standards to me. But, yeah, I don't know. It's just, I guess it is what it is, and, there is 2 minutes left in this video, and I always hate it. I always mention it, but I always hate it because, and I didn't mean to, to take so long talking about those specific things to get this far into the video. I was hoping to have a little bit more time left, but, I don't know what to say in 2 minutes, and that's another reason why I should be narrating while I play, because then I can just, there's not really a time constraint that way. I just can talk until I'm done playing. But, yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll mention this, because I've already talked about this in the time remaining. America, and this is maybe similar to the censorship in a way, you could, if you were doing a daytime show where you have to segue everything, you could kind of make a segue between these two things. America has weird, preferences on their allies, and I don't know what's going on with Trump and allies, so I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about pre-Trump, basically. But for example, America being, all kind of pro Saudi Arabia, then it being it looks like there's going to be some pirate stuff. By the way, when I edited these videos and did narration for the first one, which is would be the 17th video. That was a couple weeks ago, so I don't even remember what's in these. But, anyways, basically they're pro-Saudi Arabia, anti-Iran, even though Iran is probably the more progressive of the two, to be honest. And it was kind of contentious to people when Obama made the Iran deal. Iran, well, actually I got an achievement in this video, but Iran may or may not be more involved with terrorist activity, but in terms of the domestic situation, they're really a lot more progressive than Saudi Arabia is. Anyways, 5 seconds left, so thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your all day.